Hello there everyone, I am Sabata92 aka Nightmare, and welcome back to Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. In the last episode, a bit happened. So, Phoenix proved his durability by falling off a bridge, surviving with merely just a cold. And now, we are playing through Edgeworth's perspective. I apologize if I sound a little off. You could say that I'm a little bit under the weather, but for the most part, I'm willing to play this. Now, it's interesting that we're playing through Edgeworth's perspective, and it seems like we're gonna play the role of the defense for Iris. And right now, I'm holding back my anger, because something doesn't seem right about this whole thing. So, let's do this. I'm gonna tackle this with a very level head. February 9th, 9:47 a.m., District Court, Defendant Lobby number 1.
Oh my, Mr. Elise feels that way about me?
Apparently, he isn't aware of your real secrets at all. Okay, this is no time to be embarrassed.
I'm sorry. I'm just hardly accustomed to that sort of thing.
Worry not. And in any case, whatever it was that he saw on the night of the incident, mark my words, I will drag it out of him.
Does that mean Mr. Larice is the witness today?
No. I believe that none will be the first to take the stand.
Sister Bikini.
She claims to have seen the very instant in which you carried out the crime. I just want to ask you one last time. It really wasn't you who killed Miss Elise Dunham, correct?
That is correct. It wasn't me.
Very well then.
Mr. Edgeworth?
Yes?
You are a prosecutor, aren't you? Are you sure about this? If your true identity is revealed...
Don't worry. I made the necessary arrangements. Oh, that's right. The person that we're going to be going up against. Apparently he's set it up, so... I imagine it has to be somebody that he knows. There's no way in hell that they would suddenly bring out Winston Payne, but... if I had to guess, and this is a very big if, and a big guess here. What if he called in a favor from Francisca? You know, like, bringing her back in. I would not be opposed to that as long as she doesn't whip me, you know?
I see.
Iris. It is a prosecutor's job to doubt people. But right now, I am a defense attorney. A defense attorney's job is to believe in people, and to believe until the bitter end. That's what my friend told me once.
Mr. Edgeworth.
I simply ask that you watch and decide for yourself, whether or not I am fit to do the task I have been entrusted.
Very well, sir. I leave my defense in your capable hands.
Okay. Am I correct in this? Court is now in session for the trial of Sister Iris of the Hazakura Temple. The defense is ready, Your Honor. This feels really weird. The defense does indeed appear to be ready. However, the same cannot be said for the prosecution in this case. Indeed. I'm not sure I like such a blatant waste of this court's time. An empty prosecutor's chair can only mean that the prosecutor has no confidence in their ability to prove their case. Did it seem this case is already over before it had a chance to begin? I'm ready to announce my verdict at this time. This court finds the defendant. There it is. There we go. I fucking knew it. Oh, I missed you. Oh, God, I missed you. Anyway, the prosecution stands ready. And you are?
Franziska von Karma, prosecuting prodigy, also destroyer of worlds.
What? What was that last part? Von Karma, you say? Perchance you wouldn't be of any relation to the legendary prosecutor Manfred von Karma.
Legends are a thing of the past. I'm a von Karma, that is all. Upon a special request, I flew in today for the purposes of prosecuting this case.
We have two of the best here. You did? Then you must be quite a big shot. Big shot! Sorry. By the way, Mr. Edgeworth.
Yes, Your Honor?
I'm almost certain that I've seen you somewhere before. Or am I just imagining things? You look very much like a prosecutor I met once.
I believe you're imagining things, Your Honor.
Miss Von Karma, do you have anything to say?
There is no such weakling as this man among those of the prosecutor's office.
There isn't. But I'm sure once before he's quite... Ah!
I told you there is no such weakling.
What is that, a whip? I'm not sure I care for such a thing in my courtroom. Bailiff, would you move that whip?
Hold it!
I have no objection to the whip. You don't?
The prosecution can wield a whip or drink 17 cups of coffee. But there is still only one truth. That is what I stand here to prove today. Oh, this promises to be interesting, Miles Edgeworth. I'd expected to face Phoenix Wright here today. But looking at you now, maybe this is what I've been waiting for all this time. Miles Edgeworth, I will not allow this chance to crush you slip through my fingers. I see you brought your flair for the histrionic.
Allow me to add to the things I'm not sure about. People acting bizarrely in my court. Ah!
The stage is set. Now continue with the proceedings, Your Honor. Oh, this is going to be fun.
Very well, Miss Von Karma. Please give me an outline of this case. With as little whipping as possible.
The murder victim is the famed picture book author, Miss Elise Dunham. God damn, I missed you, I fucking missed you, Franziska. Her body was found in the Hazakura Temple courtyard. She had been stabbed to the torso by a ceremonial sword from a golden statue.
I saw in this picture. Is the weapon in question, correct? Very well. The court accepts this photo of the crime scene.
Courtyard where Elise Dunham was murdered. Oh, there is no mistake. This was the doing of Sister Iris. I want to take a look at this photo just to be sure. Stabbed through the back. God damn, that is a brutal fucking way to die. Especially with a 7-point sword like that. After all, there is a witness to a crime.
Very well. Please bring this witness to the stand.
Alright. And so it begins. My first and last trial
as a defense attorney.
We'll do this, Edgeworth. What? Witness, state your name and occupation, please.
Hold on there. I'm not sure about not being sure if I care for this at all. Witness, please stand up nice and straight.
If I recall correctly, there are a few milk crates in the defendant's lobby for our back pain-plagued witness.
Bailiff, fetch a crate for this poor lady, please.
Fuck you!
Once again, your name and occupation, please.
Little old me? Well, I'm the head nun of Hazakura Temple on Eagle Mountain. My name is Bikini. You got it? Bikini! Nice to meet everyone.
But you don't appear to be wearing a bikini right now. Ah! The courtroom is the garden of holy judgment. Those with lechery in their hearts should leave the sanctuary at once. You want me to leave?
Oh, no need to get your bikinis in a twist. Let me tell you, I'm a sight to behold in summer.
In any case... Witness, I hear that you saw the crime take place on the night in question.
No, that's right. I can still hardly believe it myself, to be honest. There's no way dear little Iris could do anything like that.
Let us hear what you have to say then. First, tell us about your own movements that night, eh?
Really? Deny the murder.
That night I was helping an acolyte with the training in the inner temple, but... Well, as you can see, my back like stacked up violently. So, I left Iris to help the acolyte and returned to his Asakura temple. Oh, there's no bath at the inner temple, you see, and I need a long, hot soak. It was after I had finished, just as I was heading back. That's when I saw it.
So, simply coincidence that you found yourself returning to Hazakura Temple?
Oh, yes, you could say that. If my back hadn't been in so much pain, I would have stayed at the inner temple.
That sounds like a pretty important statement she just made.
There's only one problem with this testimony that I can see. And you're not about to fall at the first hurdle. Now, are you, Miles Edgeworth? Mr. Edgeworth, please begin your cross-examination.
I'm sorry, I'm just so giddy.
Hold it!
Hold it! What is this inner temple?
Well, see, conversing with the spirits is what we train people to do, right?
We'll be the ones asking you the questions, madam.
Okay. In order to do that, a place strong in spiritual power is acquired. There's a small temple across Dusky Bridge called the Inner Temple. Acolytes must spend an entire night there to undergo intense training.
And how exactly do you help with this process?
Oh, it's all quite exacting. It can't be performed without a non-supervising.
Like a tutor watching to make sure a spoiled child studies.
A tutor with a whip in your case. If that is the case, then why did you return to Hazakura Temple, where the murder took place? Also, guys, let me know. I've been trying to make Edgeworth's voice a little less snobby, so it sounds much more... it just sounds better. Let me know what you think.
Better than this, basically.
Hold it!
Violently?
Oh, that's right! It's no laughing matter, especially in winter. I can't hold anything heavier than a knife and fork during the cold months. Just being alive is like strict training.
On the night of the murder, was this fabulous back of yours hurting again?
Oh, that's right. Raging like a bull in a pig pen. I almost fainted once or twice. I just knew that unless I warmed it up, it was going to finally finish me off. Hold it.
You left Iris to help. With what?
What do you think? The acolyte's training, of course. It was just past 10 p.m., so we were starting to enter the training exercises properly. There.
Wasn't it your place to remain with the disciple?
Well, the job is simply to watch over the acolytes so they don't pass away.
Just to confirm this again, that night, you met Iris in the inner temple, correct?
Yes, yes. She's a gentle, honest girl. She's never once failed to follow my directions. Hold it!
So you returned to the Hazakura Temple in order to take a bath.
My back is to blame for everything. It's a do-or-be-done-in kind of world, after all.
How long were you in the bath for, if you don't mind me asking?
My, what a filthy little rogue you are. I know what's on your mind. I bet the next question is going to be, where exactly did you wash? This is why you have to watch the young ones.
What are you going on about? I was...
Pathetic Miles Edgeworth.
Ah, the low said the low. Is there some sort of kick me sign stuck to the defense's bench? Now you know what the fuck Phoenix deals with.
Anyway, I couldn't afford to be away from my post for too long, you understand, so... It was after I had finished as I was hanging back, that's when I saw it. Hold it!
The crime took place in the courtyard, correct?
Well, when you go from my room to the main hall, you have to take a winding hallway from which you can see the courtyard.
That's right. In other words, it was pure coincidence that a witness saw the crime taking place before her eyes. There was no complicated setup in this case.
That certainly seems to be true. There is indeed only one problem with this testimony. And Skittles up. But, let's see, if I go back and say, did Iris is in her room until the murder was discovered? Yeah, this is probably what I have to present here, because this is contradictory.
Objection!
Witnesses have to undergo their own trials, I'm afraid. The defendant's fate rests on their powers of observation and memory, after all.
Well, don't worry. I'm more than up to the task. I'm a woman of faith, after all. The head honcho of Hazakura Temple.
In that case, Miss Honcho, I'd like you to explain something for me. The discrepancy between your testimony and that of the defendant, Iris. She claims that after ringing the lights out bell, she went back and stayed in her room. Which means she did not go to the inner temple at all.
No! Objection! She said that?
A defendant or a witness? Who is more likely to lie, do you suppose? The defendant is simply lying to cover her back.
Objection!
But that is completely illogical. The murder was committed in the courtyard of Hazakura Temple. Claiming that she went to the inner temple would make for a much better alibi.
But that is odd. Whatever the reason, I can't believe that she would lie.
Ah, she does indeed have honest eyes. Ah!
All people lie. That is my belief.
Why am I the only one being whipped in here?
Don't worry, you'll get used to it. I'm pretty sure you'll have a nice little chat with the other old man. Oh, don't worry, I've got a few more whips prepared for him.
Anyway, neither the witness nor the defendant have any reason to lie. Which means we must call your memory into question.
Oh dear. You're older than me and yet you want to play that game, do you?
Well, that isn't exactly what I...
My memory is perfect! Crystal clear! Especially in winter!
Then, I suppose it's too early to end this cross-examination, eh? Mr. Edgeworth, if you're going to question the memory of this witness, you'll need to show me a more decisive piece of evidence. Understood, Your Honor. I was too naive to think that alone would do the trick. Then please add your comments about Abu Iris to the testimony. And let us return to the cross-examination.
That night I was helping an acolyte with the training in the temple, but... Well, as you can see, the acolyte acted violently. Iris came to the inner temple. She was just exactly as she had been at dinner.
Oh, that right there is actually a bit of a lie. Because she took her hat off. She gave that to Phoenix. So, that might be a bit wrong.
Hold it!
Are you sure that you're not making a mistake?
You, young man, need to get your estimation of me up from the floor. Iris always wears the same clothes. The smallest thing out of place would have stood out like a sore thumb to me. You're making a mistake, thinking I made a mistake.
An excellent finish there, witness. Still, I have to wonder.
Yeah. About that. I may have to, Actually, wait a minute. Actually, yeah, this might actually work here.
Objection!
Witness, let's get one thing straight. The defendant whom you claim to have met, she was wearing this demon-warding hood, correct?
Of course. That is a very important piece of clothing, I'll have you know. Wait a minute.
Objection!
Hold it right there! Why do you have that?
That's the question of the day now, isn't it, Miss Von Karma? I'll have you know that this hood was given to someone as a gift that night, before the lights out bell was rung.
What?
You know where I'm going with this, don't you? If the witness had seen the defendant as she claims, then the Iris she saw should have been missing this very hood.
What? Well!
Not a bad feeling at all, exposing contradictions like this. I can get used to this. Now I understand that happy look on Wright's face every time he does it. Order in the court! Witness here!
Sister, this hood. You have spare ones around the temple, don't you?
Spares? Well, I do tend to make too many of them.
I see. Stockpile. A surplus of hoods, eh?
Each nun is only given one hood. This should be the only hood that Iris owned.
Then this is quite strange. Ah!
If there was a surplus of hoods, then she could have worn one of those. There is no contradiction here.
I'm sorry to break this to you, Miss Von Karma, but you won't get away that easily. Discrepancies such as this will sow seeds in any human heart. The seeds of doubt. Witness? While I don't wish to call your testimony into doubt, you must give every detail with precision.
I'm not sure I'm comfortable going along with this.
Sister, you shall continue with your testimony. Tell us what you saw after finishing your bath on your way back to the inner temple.
Those seeds of doubt are sprouting in the judge's heart. They just need a little more stimulation to bear fruit. Contradictory stimulation. Alright. I like this. Seriously, I love playing through Edward's perspective. It's so good.
I finished my bath around 11, and I thought I should return to the inner temple. And as I was walking back, I heard a noise in the courtyard. I took a look and... Iris was... Oh, Mr. Khalees! And with that sword of all things! Mr. Khalees was staying in the corner room, which fades out into the courtyard. The stabbing I saw must have occurred after she was pushed out of a window.
You saw a truly terrible sight, didn't you? If I was in your place, then it would be much like Miss Von Karma whipping Mr. Edgeworth in two in court. And me seeing it all from this very chair. Well, something like that. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
I'm not going to do that unless he pisses me off.
This judge. His imagination is about as vivid and creative as Detective Gumshoe.
Oh, I would look the fool if I commented on such foolishness. Anyway, this case is mine. Miles Edgeworth.
Calling everyone by their full name. Can't you do something about that habit of yours? Alright, let's do this.
Hold it!
How far is it from your room to the inner temple?
Let me think a moment. About 20 minutes on these stumps of mine. It's about 15 minutes to Dusky Bridge from Hazakura Temple. The inner temple is just beyond the bridge.
Still, you never made it back there that night, did you?
That's right. I was heading along the walkway toward the main hall. Hold it!
You say you heard a noise?
Whoop! Just like that!
That could only be the sound of the victim falling.
Well, it's very quiet in the temple, you know. You can even hear the snow falling from the branches. Whoop! Just like that!
But then, couldn't this noise you heard have been snow falling to the ground?
Oh. I never thought of that.
The next one to laugh gets a whipping.
Well, whatever the source of the sound, I looked over at the courtyard and... Hold it!
This is the second time that the witness has testified to seeing the defendant. But some doubt remains in these claims.
Hey, just what does that mean? Just because you're a good-looking young man doesn't give you the right to...
The murderer who stabbed the victim with a sword. Sister Bikini, try to recall exactly who it was you saw, as clearly as you can.
Well, you're a handsome young man, so I'll forgive you. Oh, now that you mention it, there was something awfully strange about her. Something that has been bugging me all this time.
Please don't keep us in suspense.
Her hood!
Her hood.
That's right! It's coming back to me! Iris! She wasn't wearing her hood! I thought something was out of place, but it all makes sense now, doesn't it? After all, she'd given that hood away to someone, right?
You've dug your own grave, Miles Edgeworth.
What do you say, Mr. Edgeworth? Is this testimony important? This may initially appear to put me at a disadvantage, but I can't see any other leads at the moment. Your Honor, I would like these new statements to be added to the testimony.
Miles Edgeworth. If you want to hang yourself, you need only to ask. I'll gladly lend you my whip.
Witness, add that statement to your testimony.
No problem!
Iris didn't have her hood on. Okay. Now, that's sort of all things. I want to look at something here. Oh god! Oh wait, I just realized something. Body fell 10 feet after death. So, there's something that makes... This doesn't make sense. If she saw Iris stabbing her on the ground, it would make no sense because she had already been dead by that point, right? So, this lends credence to a new theory here. What if Iris was making an attempt to pull the sword out of her? Maybe to try to save her? But, I have suffered a stab or two. It's not a good idea to just straight out pull out something like that because it's gonna cause a lot of blood to come out. So, well, to be fair, she was probably panicking, so she didn't realize that what she was potentially doing was a bad thing. Again, if this theory is true, that maybe she was trying to pull the sword out of her to save her. Maybe. I don't know. But I think I think I know what to do here. Alright, I want to keep pressing.
Hold it!
You all sure about that?
Oh, yes. After all, we always wear the same clothes. Ah, I don't mean because we're poor, you understand. It's our style. Yes, that's it.
There's absolutely no need to explain yourself.
Anyway, she looked different from normal, so that really struck out.
Like me holding a whippet puppy instead of my whip.
Well, at least then it might bite you and not someone else.
Iris didn't have her hood on. I'm sure of it.
Very well. Now, please pass the boot to the victim, eh?
Hold it.
The room the victim was staying in overlooked like the courtyard, correct? Which means the victim's room was on the second floor?
Oh, no. Hazakura Temple is a single-story building. But the mountain itself slopes downward. Which elevates the main temple gate side of the temple and the guest rooms in the back. To about the height of a 2-story building.
I see. And the victim was staying in one of these elevated rooms, correct?
Yes, I should know. I'm the one who carried her things to her room after all.
I got what I know what I gotta present at.
Hold it!
Right here. What makes you so sure of all this?
It's just like I told you earlier. I heard a noise in the courtyard. Okay. Thump! Just like that.
You're one smart sister, I'll give you that. The autopsy report states that the victim's body was covered in bruises, indicating a fall from around 10 feet in height.
And you're ignoring something. Oh my god, the fucking crates. It appears that the witness was not mistaken then.
Yep, I'm more than just a pretty face, especially in winter. I'm a woman of faith after all, the head honcho of Hazakura Temple.
There's only 2 of them working there.
What's wrong, Miles Edgeworth? No snappy comeback remark.
Doesn't feel like she is lying. This is very powerful testimony, too. She claims to have seen the instant into which the defendant stabbed the victim. There are only 2 things I can believe in right now. My client, Iris, and my own abilities as a defense attorney. Don't worry, I know what to do here, buddy. Stabbing I saw must have occurred after she was pushed out the window. Yeah, about that, the autopsy report begs to differ.
Objection!
Impressive logic. That's what I'd like to say, anyway.
Oh, please do! My brain is something else, especially in winter.
However, I think you are overlooking one thing. Miss Von Karma, would you be so kind as to take another look at the autopsy report?
The autopsy report.
The victim did fall from a height of 10 feet. However, this fall was after she was killed. That's right. It says after death right there. Here. Where? There. The scene the witness claims to have seen is contradictory. Fuck. If the defendant stabbed and killed the victim there in the courtyard, how did the victim then go on to take a 10-foot fall? Order! The victim was killed and then fell. If that is the case, then the victim must have been killed in her room. Don't you agree?
That is the logical conclusion. Yes, that's right. The victim must have been stabbed by the defendant in her own room. And she was then thrown out of a window down into the courtyard below.
Objection!
Were there any signs of a struggle in Miss Dunham's room? She was stabbed with a sword. That would leave a blood stain, wouldn't you agree? Well, Miss Von Karma, was there any blood? Ah!
No traces of blood were found in the victim's room.
Your whip has just caused traces of blood to be found on my glorious playoff beard. However, if there was no blood in the room, then you'll claim that... Ah!
I'm sure there's no need for me to go over this, as I'm sure your honor is well aware of when a stab wound produces the most blood.
When it produces the most blood?
Very little blood is actually lost at the moment of a blade's insertion. If you want to talk about when the most blood would be lost from a body, that would be when the blade is removed.
Indeed, with the weapon still in place, it acts like a lid on the wound. Which is why most stab wounds, if, like, let's say there's like a very big shard of glass, like, lodged in some part of your body, it's best to let the hospital try to take it out, because that way they can prepare just in case there's like any sort of internal bleeding and stuff like that. It's kind of fucked up how our bodies work like that, but it makes sense at the same time. That's true. With the weapon still in the body, there won't be much bleeding. A perfectly reasonable line of thinking.
We have come to a conclusion then. The victim was thrown out of the window with the sword still in place. This removes all of the contradictions.
Oi. Ora! 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 I must admit that this is a probable version of events. I'd expect no less from Franziska von Karma. She locates and takes control of every vital point. It seems that we need a clear testimony from the witness. Remove all supposition on your part and tell us only the facts, please. Witness, please! Remain standing on the crate!
Don't go selling me short now! The weight of winter snow has bent me out of shape, especially my back and my mood.
Sister, please give us your testimony. I will give you a vigorous massage once we are finished here.
With the whip?
Oh boy. Alright.
In all seriousness, I wonder what kind of massages that Franziska would do. She's probably very thorough. Oh my god, she could probably fix some serious back issues, if you think about it. She's a bit of a perfectionist, so it kind of makes sense.
When I looked across at the scene, the sword was already in place. Thinking about it now, I didn't actually see her stab Mr. Galeese. I've never seen so much blood before. That's when I fainted. You can't blame me, can you? And when I woke, Mr. Gamey was stabbing Mr. Galeese through the back.
This all confirms Miss Von Karma's theory.
Von Karma strive for nothing but perfection. Putting together such facts is nothing for me. You should know that, Miles Edgeworth.
Perfection is an impossibility, Franziska Von Karma. And I'm here to teach you just that. Two prodigies of Von Karma duking it out. Fuck yeah!
Hold it!
At that time, was the victim bleeding?
Well, I was very shocked to be seeing all this, of course. So I'm not entirely sure. But I don't think I saw any blood. Not then.
I'm sure that you didn't. The weapon was acting as a plug in the wound.
In any case, let's be clear on one very important part. Did you actually see the instant in which the victim was stabbed?
Hold it!
Think carefully. This is very important.
It's Iris we're talking about here. I'm thinking for all I'm worth. No, when I looked over, the sword was already in Mr. Galeese's body.
It might not be conclusive, but this testimony supports her theory.
The victim was stabbed in her room and then dropped into the courtyard. I think this proves it rather well, Miles Edgeworth.
Hold it!
So you're saying that you saw the victim's blood?
That's right! Some of it had splattered onto Iris, too.
When the defendant was arrested, she was meditating in her room, and her blood-flecked clothing was neatly folded in the corner.
What? Her clothes are blood-flecked as well? That seems quite conclusive to me. That's new. What should I do? Does this point further? Yes, let's do it. Going back to your previous statement, you said that you saw a little bleeding when the victim was stabbed. But now you say you saw the victim bleeding?
Well, I say what I saw is what I saw.
What'd you say?
Maybe I didn't see the poor woman get stabbed, but I saw the girl pull the sword out of her, plain as day.
That partially supports my potential theory that maybe in her own way, because maybe she was trying to save Elise. You know? And with that, I have finished my tea. Because we're not having Godo or Diego here, I'm not drinking coffee. With Edgeworth, I got myself a nice cup of tea. And again, I'm having a stroke. Pulling the sword out.
Well, it wasn't exactly pulling, it was more like it came out.
Witness! You will add the state statement to a testimony.
Oh, was that important?
More important than you can imagine. It changes the scenario. Maybe she was actually trying to save her.
I saw the instant in which the blade plunged into the hilt was smoothly drawn out. Hold it.
Smoothly, you say? You're saying you saw the sword smoothly slide out?
That's right. The whole thing happened right next to the gold statue of Mystic Amy. Mystic Elise was on the ground and Iris was stooped over her. The sword was buried up to the hilt.
Buried up to the... Wait a minute. But then how come only the bare tip of the sword is covered in blood?
When Iris stood up, the sword in her hand just slid out of Mystic Elise's body. It's not from that gaping wound.
It goes without saying that if the sword was removed there, it would be bleeding.
Nothing out of place here.
Is that really the case? I can't help but feel that something about this testimony is very out of place. That something which could impossibly have happened appears to have happened. Seriously, like, from the way this is sounding, it's like... Yeah, if it was plugged up to the hilt, there would be blood completely soaking the blade. And, hold on a minute. Yeah, look at it. It does not have blood up to the hilt. There's something severely wrong with that.
Hold it.
Was the bleeding caused by the killer removing the sword?
No mistaking it. I remember it all clear as day.
Don't you think that's a bit odd?
What do you mean, Miles Edgeworth?
Why would the killer pull out the sword?
What?
If all she wanted to do was place the weapon in the hand of the gold statue, then there was no reason to remove it from the body. All that would have accomplished is causing the victim to bleed unnecessarily. Your thoughts, Miss Von Karma?
That's...
Indeed. It is strange now that you mention it. I'm going to need to find an answer to this mystery, too.
Anyway, the witness saw something terrible. So what did you do after that, witness?
Hold it.
Now, on to what the killer did next. You saw none of it, correct?
Well, I was unconscious.
How long were you out for?
I don't know. 10, maybe 20 minutes? A young man with a very prickly looking head woke me up. By stepping on me, actually.
I'm not sure I like that method of resuscitation.
Well, I wasn't asking for mouth-to-mouth or anything of the sort. But I would have welcomed a more gentle awakening right about then, let me tell you.
I shall have words with the offender personally. What did you see upon awakening? By Mystic Amy, you're referring to the golden statue, correct?
Just stabbing someone with a shikishito, a sacred treasure, is terrible enough. But did that make Mystic Amy hold the blade?
Truly a heinous, despicable crime.
It is easy to despise something. Anyone can do it. However, there is something that cannot be done so easily.
Whatever it is, I'm sure it's doubly hard for you. Anyway, what is the problem?
Exactly. Why would the killer set up this gruesome scene? Can anyone explain the reasoning behind that? No, I don't think I can.
There isn't always a logical reason behind why someone acts.
Well, that's true, so true. In early spring, for example, I often find myself...
There isn't always. That phrase might come in handy someday. There are too many unnatural elements in this case. Why was it necessary to use the shikishito from the Amy statue as a weapon? Why was the weapon ultimately placed back in the hand of the statue? If I can expose the flaws in this testimony, perhaps then I will begin to find the truth. Okay, so I know what to do here. Serious status to police. I saw the instant in which the blade plunged into the hilt was smoothly drawn out. That is a problem, because why isn't the blade fucking soaked?
Objection!
Sister Bikini, you are a reliable witness. At least, I'd like to think so. But there are too many contradictions here.
Well, what do you mean? You make it sound as though I'm a liar! But you're a handsome young man, so I'll forgive you.
What the fuck are you doing?
What contradictions are you talking about? In the scene that the witness claims to have seen, the weapon was thrust up to its hilt into the victim. Furthermore, the killer withdrew the weapon smoothly from the body. However, both of these are complete impossibilities.
Oh, this does bring up a positive... Oh, this... Ah! I didn't even get a chance to read him because I was busy thinking. The whole trying to save her thing just got thrown out the window, though. Because there's a potential theory here about... What, would they stage something like that?
Explain yourself.
To start with, do you think it would be possible to stab someone to the hilt with this?
I mean, goddamn, look at it. That would be the most agonizing... Seriously. A straight sword with just a single edge. Sure, that's gonna be fucking painful, but it's not gonna rip your fucking insides and tear them to fucking... Not gonna turn them into goddamn pudding like this sword would. That is arguably one of the most... That looks like one of the most painful fucking things to stab somebody with. Good God!
No matter how I look at the defendant, she doesn't appear strong enough for that.
Doesn't appear? What meaningless dribble? I too may appear to be weak and frail.
You do not appear weak and frail. You are girl boss.
But I can crush men under my heel and make them weep, should I so choose.
You probably shouldn't say that because there are some that they would kind of like that. The objection stands. I went a little back there, I must admit.
Objection!
That isn't the only issue here. If this sword was truly stabbed into the body up to the hilt, well, just look at all the branches on it. It certainly wouldn't come out smoothly. That's... We also have the problem of the amount of bleeding. It's true that when a blade is left in a body, it acts as a plug of sorts. However, when the weapon is shaped like this, it's an entirely different story. The wound would be too large for the blade to completely stop the bleeding.
Objection!
That's nothing more than conjecture. In reality, the victim was stabbed with the shikishito. Even a weapon of this nature may still sometimes slide out smoothly, and may still sometimes stop the blood loss.
Objection!
I'm not finished. There is still one more conclusive contradiction. You still got more? This one is simple. If this sword really was thrust in all the way to the hilt, why is there only blood on the tip of it? If this witness is telling the truth, then there should be blood along the entire length of the sword.
No!
Order! Could you please stop that?
No. Bravo, Miles Edgeworth. Raising this many contradictions from a single piece of evidence. All the other attorneys I know could maybe manage one, if that.
But what does this all mean? Yeah, proven contradictions regarding the murder weapon, but... Having come this far, there can only be one answer.
And that is?
The weapon used to kill the victim was not the Shikishito! It was a different weapon then.
What? A foolishly foolish idea born from the foolish mind of a foolhardy foolish fool!
Oh, I've missed this attitude from you. Let's examine this again. What was it that made us think this sword was the murder weapon? The blood.
Well, it's because Mr. Gamey was holding it.
Exactly. However, if you reflect on this, that is the only basis we have to assume such a thing. The impression left by the scene was just too strong. That is what influenced us. It influenced us to believe that the Shikishito was the murder weapon. Order! Order! Go! God damn it!
So, maybe the Shikishito was not the murder weapon. Even if that is the case, it changes nothing, Miles Edgeworth. The sister here saw everything. She saw the defendant stab the victim with a sword-like object.
That's true. Your response, Mr. Edgeworth? If that is so, I would like the prosecution to answer the obvious question it raises. The obvious question? Yes, namely, where the real murder weapon disappeared to. It goes without saying that the police searched the main hall and the surrounding area. Perhaps the prosecution can enlighten us as to if a sword-like object was found.
That's...
Answer the question, Miss Von Karma.
No evidence of that kind was found.
Another mystery to throw onto the pile. A trial without a murder weapon is a tricky beast.
Excuse me, could I say something? I just remembered something, actually.
Wait, does it have something to do with the furnace? Because there was a furnace right outside the area where Maya was getting her training. So...
What is it, sister?
I was just thinking, it's possible that just maybe what actually happened was, it was just over there.
What exactly are you going on about here?
The murder weapon, I mean! Maybe... I think I might know where the sword was disposed of!
You what?
Well then. I think we need to hear testimony from you one more time, sister.
It's impossible! What else? What else could this old woman have seen? We're about to find out. Eh?
I saw the murder at around 11 p.m. And after asking that it be reported, I went to the main gate. And there I saw tracks. Tracks that indicate the snowmobile had been used. It takes 15 minutes to walk to Dusky Bridge, but less than 5 using one of those. Maybe they threw the weapon into Eagle River and came back while I was knocked out. Iris could have done that. She can drive a snowmobile after all.
Witness, please tell us everything you know right about next time.
Well, I'm not in the best of shape. But with my back and my age, you know.
You can't keep using that as an excuse. Quite. There were indeed snowmobile tracks in front of the main gate. Here's a photograph. Oh. Huh. Snowmobile, eh? I see. Well, it certainly is an interesting theory. Well, there's also footprints. Huh. The tracks begin in front of Hazakura Temple and run all the way to Dusky Bridge. Taken that night from main gate to Dusky Bridge. That solves your pesky little problem, yes? The Eagle River's current is quite swift, meaning that it doesn't freeze over in winter, making it the perfect place to dispose of the murder weapon.
Did she really go to the river to dispose of the murder weapon?
Mr. Edgeworth, your cross-examination, please.
Okay, this will be interesting.
Hold it!
You are sure about the time?
Yes, I was worried about it after all.
Why was that?
Well, because I have a strong sense of responsibility, especially at this time of year. The acolyte was being doused in freezing water at the time. I couldn't very well take it easy in the bath all night now, could I? So at 11 I decided to leave Hazakura Temple.
Her estimation of the time seems reliable, at least.
Please continue, sister.
Hold it!
You asked Phoenix Wright to report the crime, correct?
Right! The one who trampled me!
It seems she is the type to hold a grudge. Fair enough.
There isn't a phone in the main hall, so I sent him to the bridge.
Phoenix Wright. He didn't even have his cell phone on him.
He had forgotten it at home, apparently.
What a naive boy, as always. Not only do I have to
Oh my god, I finally flubbed a line with her. Whoops.
Not only do I always carry my phone, but I always have my whip in hand, too.
Anyway, that is a bit odd. I was really scared, and it was taking him a while to get back. So I thought I'd go out by the main gate for a spell. Hold it!
As I recall, there was a snowmobile outside the main gate when I visited.
That's it! That's the only one we have! It'll run no matter how much snow falls!
Now, you're certain the snowmobile was there at the main gate when you arrived?
Yes, of course! It was parked in front of the gate!
Is it in front of the gate? Oh yeah, it is. Okay, never mind. Actually, wait a minute! If it was being used, why isn't there a second set of tracks? It only has one set of tracks, and it's to look like it's to park here. If it was being used, where the fuck is the other... Where's the other tracks? Sorry, just kind of a realization there.
So, she'd already gone, discarded the murder weapon, and returned by that time.
I'm not sure if this is really relevant. What should I do? I need answers to every possible doubt. The snowmobile in question, was it still warm at that time?
Huh? What do you mean? What do you mean?
What do you mean, eh? What do you mean, Miles Edgeworth?
I'm playing to a slow crowd here. It goes without saying that using a snowmobile will heat its engine. If it was still warm, then it means it was recently used.
Ah, I see! I never thought of that!
That's right. I would look that too.
Of course you did.
You have no room to talk, Von Karma. Then answer the question, please, witness.
I don't often going around touching hot engines. However, now that you mention it, there wasn't any snow on it.
Snow? Well, yeah, why would there be any snow on it if it's underneath the fucking thing over there? Maybe? Unless the snow was coming in sideways, but still.
Yes, for some reason only the snowmobile wasn't covered in snow.
There wasn't any snow on it? Curses! It seems highly likely that the killer did use the snowmobile then, eh?
How long does it take to get to Dusky Bridge by snowmobile?
Hold it!
In that case, why didn't you use it yourself? You could have spared yourself some walking.
Ah, there's a reason for that. Have you got a moment for me to explain?
No, I think that's why the question was asked in the first place.
It was about a month ago. I was driving my beloved little snowmobile, happy as can be. I'd fetched some water and was heading back when I went and crashed into a tree. The tree and my back both went crunch, just like that. Crunch.
Ah, Crunch. Captain Crunch. Yes!
I haven't been able to find the cursor right anything since then. What was that about Captain Crunch? Anyway, the killer must have used it. Hold it!
Refresh our memory. How long were you knocked out for?
Like I said, somewhere between 10 to 20 minutes.
It's possible to get to the bridge and back in 10 minutes using the snowmobile.
I have to concede that is more than enough time.
Is that all you wish to concede, Miles Edgeworth?
A sibling rivalry battle here going on, I love it.
Hold it!
While it would have been possible time-wise, one element remains out of place here. Oh, and what would that mystery element be? The killer's reasoning, Your Honor. Why did the killer do all of this? Cause yeah, it seems like there's been no actual motive to kill Elise. Like, really? There's barely any, there's like nothing. I just don't know, you know? Just don't know, man. Why go to the Eagle River to dispose of the murder weapon when there are other methods? Too many unanswered questions. Your response, Miss Von Karma? Ah!
Turning to me for help over the slightest thing. Why don't you think for yourself once in a while, Your Honor?
What? She's over the top as always. I somewhat missed this.
Anyway, whatever the reason, the fact remains that the defendant could have done this. The murder weapon was disposed of in the river, another point to me, Miles Edgeworth.
Another mystery to feed the fire. Was there any reason to go and throw away the murder weapon? Luckily, there is surely a problem with this testimony. Now all I have to do is start poking holes in this flawed account. Okay, so let me look at what we got here. So when was this taken? Taken that night. Okay. And there is no snow on it. I still have my tracks theory here. Let's see, anything that takes place during that night. Okay, so this is testimony for release. Look at the weather data here. Snow settling to approximately 10:50 p.m. So, wait a minute. If it was snowing, then there should have been snow on it, right? There's a bit of a... Okay, there's a bit of a contradiction. There should be snow on it. Okay, hold on. Okay, let me just go back over here again. 11 p.m. To the main gate. I saw tracks that indicated the snow being had been used. I think that's a bit of a problem here, because like I stated earlier, this photograph, it only shows one set of tracks, and it's from the angle here, it looks like it was just used to get to the gate. There's no set of tracks that states it went to leave the place. So... Okay, I think this is the one that I gotta present here.
Objection!
Looks like I was right. I admit, this photograph proves something. It proves that the snowmobile was used on the night of the murder.
You finally accepted the inevitable, it seems, Miles Edgeworth.
However, if what the witness says is true, then why is there only one set of tracks?
What do you mean?
Iris left Hazakura Temple, threw the weapon into the river, and then returned. If this was the case, then naturally there should be two sets of tracks in the snow. Those from heading out to the bridge, and those from coming back.
Oh, you're right!
You are forgetting one thing, Miles Edgeworth. On the night of the murder, it was snowing. The tracks leading to the bridge were erased by the snowfall. This removes your precious contradiction now, doesn't it?
I see. While she was at the river, the snow stopped, leaving only just the return tracks in the snow. Stop it!
What do you have to say now, Miles Edgeworth?
Is there a flaw in her theory? This idea that the snowfall covered one set of tracks. Let me go to the weather data again real quick. Okay. 10:50. Do I have anything like one? Okay, not that one. Not that one. Her body's not covered in snow. Is that important? It seems like it might be important. I'm gonna lean on... Actually, hold on a minute. I'm going to make an attempt. The tracks to the river were covered by snow. What a nice theory. However, Miss Von Karma, that is impossible.
Would you care to explain why there's a rude index finger currently pointed in my general direction?
No need. The evidence will do all the talking for me. On the night of the murder, the killer went to and returned from Dusky Bridge. In order to dispose of the murder weapon, the outgoing tracks were erased by snow. Also claims Miss Von Karma. Master Edgeworth, present your evidence the contrary, eh? Evidence that the ongoing tracks were not covered by snow. Yeah, this right here.
Take that!
Let's start with this. Witness, please tell us again what time it was when you witnessed the crime.
Like I said! It was around 11!
Of course. This means that the weapon was thrown away after that time, correct? On that note, please take a look at this data. It is the weather report from Eagle Mountain on the night of the murder. The weather report? Snow started to fall at 7 p.m., but it stopped around 10:50. Therefore, when the sister witnessed the crime at 11, the snow had already stopped falling. It is impossible for any tracks made after that time to have been covered up. Order! Order! Very well then. It looks like Miss Von Karma's claim has been snowed in. Ah!
It is too soon to be closing this trial due to snow, especially with those god-awful puns. Foolish old man. Miles Edgeworth, how pathetic of you to rely on the weather of all things. Answer me this then. When is a weather report ever correct?
Ah, no, you've got it all wrong. This isn't a forecast. This is actual data. Ah!
Forecast, data, all weather reports have some inaccuracies. It may have still been snowing in the vicinity well past 11 p.m.
It's true. We cannot be totally sure, eh? What? How did she pull that off? It had stopped snowing at the Hazakura Temple when the murder took place. Need to provide conclusive evidence of this. Come this far, there's no turning back now. Very well. I, too, cannot allow any doubt to remain concerning this testimony.
You can't back down, can you? Such a perfectionist, Miles Edgeworth.
Part meat kettle.
I'll whip the kettle.
Of course you will. Very well then, Mr. Edgeworth. Where's your evidence that it already stopped snowing when the victim was killed? Oh, easy peasy. The crime scene photo, actually. Take a look at it. There's no snow on her body.
So?
Take that! Ultimately, it all comes down to one point. That being, whether or not it was snowing in that courtyard when the victim was stabbed.
That's right, but proving that is
incredibly easy. If we want to know whether it was snowing or not, this photo will tell us everything. Of course, I'm referring to the photo of the crime scene. As you can see, everything is covered with snow, with just one exception.
and that is
the victim herself, Miss Elise Donner. Why is there no snow on top of her? The answer is simple. It had stopped snowing when she was killed. That's why. In other words, if the killer really did go to the Eagle River to dispose of the murder weapon, then in this photograph, there should be 2 sets of tracks. Order! Order! Just what are you...
Just what are you suggesting, Miles Edgeworth?
To be honest, I'm not entirely sure myself, but this is simply what all of the facts point to. That night, someone used the snowmobile to leave Hazakura Temple. From the tracks left, it can be understood that they were heading for Dusky Bridge. At that time, it was still snowing.
Of course it was, because those tracks were erased by the snow.
Then, when this person returned to Hazakura Temple, the snow had stopped. Thus, the return tracks remained.
Can I say something? This all sounds a bit fishy to me.
What does, sister?
There is only one key for the snowmobile.
Uh-oh.
Furthermore, on the night in question, we know that the defendant had it. The key was found in her room after the murder.
Which can only mean that night, Iris used the snowmobile to go to the inner temple.
But Iris said that she never went there. I should probably press on this point some more when I get the chance.
The snowmobile can't cross the suspension bridge. So, she must have left it on the Hazakura side of the bridge and crossed on foot.
That sounds about right.
But what's odd is, when I left Iris and returned to Hazakura Temple, I didn't see anything near Dusky Bridge.
So wait, the snowmobile wasn't there?
You must have just failed to see it, sister.
Maybe, but when I made it back to Hazakura Temple, it was there by the main gate. The snowmobile, I mean. I know what I saw. It was covered in snow, too.
Huh. But that isn't possible! Order! Order! Order in the court! What does this all mean? So, then, what was the snowmobile used for? It wasn't taken by the defendant when she went to the inner temple. If it had been, then the witness couldn't possibly have seen it by the gate. Furthermore, it wasn't used by the killer to dispose of the murder weapon. Oh god, I have a sick feeling I know who used it. If that was the case, there should be 2 sets of tracks in this photo. All we know is this. After it stopped snowing, someone used the snowmobile to return to Hazakura Temple. I never thought a simple snowmobile could cause so much trouble. I think we've learned all we can from this witness.
Yes, yes. I've nothing more to add. I've told you everything. Everything that I know.
But then, that still leaves us with the same problem. If only there was someone, a witness who could testify to having seen the snowmobile. A witness, huh? Was there no one out walking perhaps near Dusky Bridge on that night? There's only one dumbass that could have been doing it. And I say that because he is a bit of a dumbass.
I don't think that's likely. It was cold enough to freeze your ears off. Only an idiot would go out wandering in that.
Of course you had to say idiot.
Unless they had something really important to do.
That's a shame. Hold on. Something is coming to me. An idiot may well have gone wandering out on the sub-Arctic night. Your Honor! Actually, there just might be one individual who may be of help to us. Really?
You know of someone who might have seen the snowmobile on the night of the murder?
I don't know for sure if he saw it or not. But there are 2 things about him that do come to mind. One, he is an idiot. And the other, he's an idiot.
I'm sorry, I failed to see what this is. Are you referring to Phoenix?
No, but someone awfully close. Which are? First, that he saw something incredible on the night of the murder.
And the second being...
This individual that I'm thinking of went wandering outside on that cold night. In other words, he's our kind of idiot. Thank you for fucking calling him an idiot, because he is a bit of an idiot. Whew, alright. Mr. Edgeworth, who is this kind of idiot you're talking about? It's Phoenix Wright. Oh, God. Take that! This guy must be a product of Jean-Luc Deluxe's guide to obnoxious French painting. This is Larry Butts, disciple of the victim Elise Dunham. A student? Interesting. And why was he wandering about outside on the night of murder, eh? That's... I could tell them all about his designs for Iris, but it may cost us his credibility as a witness before I even call him. He is, after all, an artist. He was perhaps searching for something in the snowy scenery that would move him, although I cannot guarantee that this is the reason.
And so, this unfortunate, unreliable-looking man, what exactly was it that he saw?
I intend to extract that from him, right here in this courtroom. Summon this youth as a witness immediately!
I have no choice, do I?
I believe he's on the gallery for this trial. It will not take long to summon him. Very well. Larry. You may have escaped me yesterday, but today I'm going to get everything out of you. The call will now adjourn for a 20-minute break. Miss Von Carlo, please see that they're preparing the next witness.
Understood, Your Honor. Good. Well then, cause now in recess.
God, I need a break. But I don't want to stop. But at the same time, I want to take my... This is kind of a weird thing, because I have a schedule that I want to keep up. But at the same time, sometimes I just want to take a break. But then again, this just keeps drawing me in. But then again, I'm going to be going up against Larry of all people. Ugh.